Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Inner Miami Show. Back with two hosts. I'm Brandon Griffin, and with me, as always, is Mike, solo artist himself, Longin. How are you doing, my friend?
I just have to call this out. So the wife's away for 2 days. Me and my boy. Uh, I get this chance to appreciate what every single parent goes through, like for life. Like I always come out of this going, man, every single parent I know, you're amazing. I'm so appreciative of whatever you have to go through, even with just one kid and having like prep time. It's tough.
Yeah.
I just always want to take that moment, like, man, Branton, I was like running around trying to get everything done and make the chance to do this tonight.
Yeah.
I want to throw out that appreciation real quick.
As someone who was raised by a single parent, I appreciate that.
Good for your parent, man. I have to have a little mea culpa. So we did live show on Sunday.
You. And you
Well, there was a we.
man.
There was a we moment. That's what I got to apologize for. So my son, TJ, jumped on. And I don't remember this, but apparently he called Messi rude. And I actually had someone reach out to me, ask me, was Messi really rude to your son? I said, no. Messi was having the ultimate father moment. He showed up in I think they were cargo shorts, a Hawaiian shirt,
he was totally dressed like I do on the weekends.
I wouldn't be shocked if he had some white New Balances on. They might have said Adidas, but they're probably New Balances.
Yeah.
And his kids are climbing all over him. And the dude just wanted to watch soccer. And
yeah,
my son and a couple kids next to him were all trying to get his attention, trying to get the autograph, and he isn't into it. And I was cool with that, right? Like the man's there watching soccer. So TJ called him rude on the show, and I just want to officially state he was not rude. He was a dad with his kid. I think it was one of his kids' birthdays too, watching the soccer match. But I just want to. I don't want to come out that we ever said Messi was rude, because he is absolutely not rude.
Oh, Sean's breaking news here. They were Asics.
You knew they had to be white at the very least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in while Mike dominated while I was out. Unfortunately, and I know a lot of people in the South Florida area, especially if you have kids, are going through the stomach virus. So I was down and out, but I'm feeling good. Glad to be back. Wish we had some better news to talk about, but all in all, it'll be a fun show.
I'm excited.
I'm excited
to have you back, by the way. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do this on my own. I missed having the other person. So I'm glad you're back. Now, in a week, you're doing this on your own, because I won't be here for the NYC FC kind of pre-match. So you're doing that one in 2 weeks on your own. So you'll get to know what it's like.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. I'll have to figure that one out, because I think I'm traveling for work. But we'll figure it out. But I do want to shout out before we get started, Olive and York. I mentioned it on the last show I was on. US Open Cup Matters shirts. They are out in I think 6 or 7 different colors now. When I bought this, it was just red and white. I am going to definitely be grabbing they have a black and white one. I'll wear it to games. And Olive and York, if you're listening, pink and black, please. I will rock that every day or every game day in the stadium.
They really should do a color one for every single team that's not
playing. Well, I don't know if they have for every team that's not playing, but they've done when they've gotten enough requests. Like the red and white was originally done for St. Louis City. I grabbed it because that's the US Open Cup colors too. So I was like, go for it. But they have black and white. They've got yellow and red, or yellow and black. They got a bunch of different ones. Check it out. They're not a sponsor or anything, but Mike and I both love their products. So
yeah, they do some amazing jerseys. I've got their BHU one. I have their Grant Wall one. I have 2 of their USA ones, including the Declaration of Independence and the Waldo, which I love that Waldo jersey, man. I would love to find an official original Waldo, but I don't think I could ever wear it just because. They do some good stuff, and there's a new Siege one that's just
that one's fire.
Hot. I can't wait to get that one.
That
one we'll wear it the day we get it.
Also, Olive and York, another hint here. is they have a retro site now. I was able to snag like some old school Liverpool jerseys off of there. So anybody who likes to collect old jerseys, they're on there and they're good. They're legit. But before we get into the slightly depressing topic of the game, those of you who follow us on social media will know that our very own paparazzi photographer was out hunting the sidelines and he found some celebrities. Celebrities turned out.
So this was cool. Like, so I had LeBron and Kim K sit in front of me for a match once, and seeing Mark Rober and Mr. Beast was cooler. Like,
yeah,
way cooler. All of a sudden, Eric, a friend of the show, was sitting in my row. He goes, "Hey, is that Mr. Beast?" I look over, and it's Mr. Beast and his whole crew. My son is going wild. And then him and Mark Rober have been doing a bunch of stuff here. And I don't know if you guys know, everyone probably knows Mr. Beast because he's Mr. Beast. Mark Rober is a former JPL NASA scientist. He got really big into like bringing engineering and STEM to kids. He does a really cool thing called Crunch Labs. You can buy for your kids to get into.
Dude, I do know Mark Rober. I don't know why it didn't connect until you just said it. Yeah, I have some of his stuff.
Right, he's the guy who does it. He does the porch bomb, like for the porch pirates, the glitter bombs.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I was super excited to see Mark Rober. Yeah, I was like a kid. I actually was like trying to reach out to anyone I knew in the club, like, "Hey, can my son, Mr. Beast?" They said no. And then at halftime, we see Messi's and Busquets' kids run away, and they come back all with Beast bars. So clearly, they were excited to see it too. So
yeah, that's cool.
It was pretty awesome. I know my son, every kid that heard about it was super excited. It's cool to see like something unique show up. It's not just the standard celeb, but someone that, you know, a little different, that's still interested in come see the Messi experience.
Well, the Messi-less experience.
Well, I mean, Messi was still there. Messi was doing dad duty.
Yeah.
Which, hold on, I want to rant. Now you said this. I'm hold on, let me get the soapbox out. Sorry, Hesped. I have been the first to bitch about prices and stuff and tickets, but these people going on social media and saying how horrible it is that Messi's not playing when they show up at an Inter Miami game and how they've been let down. I just need to say this. Ridiculous. You are not buying a Messi ticket. You're buying an Inter Miami ticket. You are getting an Inter Miami show. If you want a Messi specific show, I've heard there's going to be a Messi experience down in Coral Gables, and people can go see that. But I just have to throw out, and as much as I've kind of gotten frustrated by a lot of the Messi stuff, bitching that you don't get to see a single player when you're buying a ticket to see a team just frustrates me. And I don't know why that kind of set me off. I almost went completely like social media rage monster, and I held back. But now I can say it, since you brought it up and made me think of it. I'm like, well, you're paying for the team. At the end of the day, if you want to come see the team, come see it. If you want to just see Messi, well, there's different other ways to try to see him, including stalking. I've heard that's an option. Seems like a strangely high number of people seem to be getting autographs from Messi while he's in his car. It's becoming more and more common to see those little IG posts.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I would. I'm not going to do it.
We all know I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
And we all could see me doing it. Like, that's clear, which something I probably would do. But I just have to throw out there, like, listen, if you're going to go to Inter Miami game, you're going to Inter Miami game. And maybe, hopefully, there's a chance you get to see Messi, because hopefully if Messi's on the field, there's a better chance we'll win. But let's cool it with the, oh, Messi wasn't there, so my experience was ruined type comments.
For those of you who have been listening since day one, you will recall that Mike was on the opposite side of this argument during the Hong Kong debate. And when I said I didn't feel bad for any one of them.
No, because here's a difference. Hong Kong was practice. See, I'm slowly changing that soon. Hong Kong was practice. It was show. It was a pageantry. It was a show. It was a concept. We're in the season now. Messi's not going to play every game. If you want to kind of get, like, it's pretty easy to know when Messi's going to play unless there's a real injury. Nobody that followed the team with even the barest hint of like reality thought Messi was playing last night.
And you and I talked about it before, and like in our show prep, because we were ready to go for Saturday. no one expected him to play, and
No.
nobody really expected us to be competitive in this game, honestly.
I was shocked that Suarez played, frankly. Like, everyone was expecting these guys to sit. So
Yeah.
again, I just think that if you're buying these tickets on speculation Messi's going to play, you gotta get ahead of it. You gotta look at the calendar or wait till the last second. Which, frankly, tickets are not going up last second; they go down. So there's a reason to wait.
Mhm.
Our boy Joe Kerr is snatches up seats at the last second on a regular basis now.
Yeah, well, our friend Joe Kerr's rant about Ticketmaster prices. I waited 1 day too long to pull the trigger on the seats behind you, and now they're like $600.
Yeah, but if you ask Joe Kerr, he actually got into a different, better spot for 200 yesterday. So he's still figuring it out.
Maybe I'll surprise you tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, Sean, listen, I'm a man who can change opinion over time. I've never, unlike Branton, who tends to be more committed to his opinion, I can take real world data, change my mind. Yeah, it can happen.
I don't think that's how it goes. I think I spend more time to formulate where I stand, whereas you're more emotional. And like you go with where your emotions go, and then you look for selective data that proves your point.
That is the American way, isn't it?
Well, there's a reason I call it football and you call it soccer.
I mean, soccer was invented in England as a term. I've always found that weird that the English hate the term that they
England
invented.
Or Scotland?
I'm pretty sure it was England. I've always read it was England. All right, so we had celebs.
Experts.
I'm just gonna say it was super more exciting to see Mark Rober than LeBron. LeBron was rude, by the way. Just have to throw it out there. He went out of his. He was not like he was at a kid's or stuff. He went out of his way to ignore everybody. And one of his security guards goes, "LeBron will not look up to sign autographs." I'm like, dude.
Well,
good for you, man.
We were all waiting for that recap.
Sorry.
So
I'm trying to bring up some stories into this.
Well, we appreciate it. We do. Moving on into the Montreal recap. So as we expect, it was a heavily rotated lineup. We saw Taylor and Campana up top, Sunderland, Redondo, Gressel in midfield, Alba, Allen, Christoph, Alves, Ruiz in the back five, which, we all have our opinions on that, and Calendar as the captain. Now that Yedlin's gone in goal. And I think we all expected a heavily rotated lineup like this, and I didn't have any surprises with the lineup. I don't know about you, Mike.
Ruiz starting right back was a surprise. We've seen him sub into that position. I still think Gressel is brought in right. Well, I will say this: up until this game, I really thought Gressel was going to be that long-term right back. I have come to believe now that they want him in the midfield as a super sub because I don't see a spot for him in the best 11. So I see him coming in as a super sub now, and we really are looking for that right back. We saw Michelle Kaufman posted, I think it was this morning, that Tata was pretty upfront that their number one thing they're searching for is a new right back. I liked Ruiz and right back. I don't think he has. Throughout the game, one thing I felt like he doesn't have the playing time with the rest of the players on the pitch, so his timing is all off. His like what he's trying to do is not right. But it's getting
about that because he got a lot of minutes in preseason. I think it's more he doesn't have minutes at right back.
Yeah,
like
that's what I meant.
Well, you say he didn't have minutes with the rest of the team, and I think
in the position he was playing in. I'm agreeing. This is weird. You promise you don't understand what I'm like. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. Like he hasn't played that position. It was the same when we all of a sudden listen. No, Allen 2 games ago as a left back. He's been playing as a left center back the whole time. He was out of he wasn't used to that position at that time. I think Ruiz was the same way. He doesn't have the time on the pitch in that position to be comfortable, to understand the rotations. I think it's I wish we had a whole week. I think if that's the plan going forward and we don't get the new guy between now and DC, a whole week of practice, he'll be good. A little nervous about tomorrow if he's going to start there because I don't think he's quite ready for it yet. But that was a surprise because I still was going in there thinking Gressel was the right back, kind of the named right back. But it does really confuse me as to Gressel's role in this team because there's going to be no best 11 lineup where I see him being the starting on the squad. I just don't see a position for him because in the midfield, the starters are going to be Redondo. Hold on, before you interrupt. In a 3-5-2, that's going to be Redondo, Gomez. Well, I think it's regardless of Redondo, Gomez, and Busquets. And so, as long as that's your starting three, I don't see where it's going to go.
So I don't think, and based off of Tata's comments on today, I don't think the 3-5-2 is going to be his permanent thing.
But even a 4-3-3,
he wants to go back to a 4-3-3. But I think when you do that, you push Gomez up. Yeah, I think you either push Gressel or you push Gomez up.
I think you
they stay in the lineup.
No, I don't, because you put Robbie Taylor at the left wing.
We've
seen it. We've already seen in a 4-3-3. He'll go to Robbie Taylor. Robbie Taylor was the first sub in.
Gressel is not. You're not paying all that money to Gressel for him not to be in the starting lineup. And what we've seen is so in best 11. You're right. Gressel doesn't really have a spot, but I think realistically over the course of the season, we will see him at midfield or possibly up at like a right wing.
And that's where I say
like Messi's not playing or something like that.
Right, and that's my point. Right, yeah. He's a super sub. He's a rotational. You're first in on a rotational piece, but he's not your best 11. You're right. We paid all this money, and he's not a best 11 midfield. Best 11 per squad. Kind of confusing to me. I wonder if that's a little bit. Remember when we started this, Redondo wouldn't have been here. That means Gressel would have been a best 11 midfielder. But I think right now he's not.
I think it's still possible for him to be a best 11 midfielder, but I think you probably see. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that we shift to a 4-4-2 because with the strength we have in midfield, I would love to see you be able to put like a diamond formation in there. You could have like Gressel, because Gressel definitely has been offering quality from midfield. You have Gressel, Busquets on either side of that pyramid. You have Redondo anchoring the back, and then you could slot Messi in at the top. You could slot Gomez in at the top. Rojas, the new midfielders, an attacking midfielder, he could go in that spot. And then you could start Suarez, Messi up top. You could start Campana, Taylor. You could start Campana, Suarez. You have that flexibility. And I think with the personnel that we have, that might be something that we maybe see move to. But definitely, I think I feel like we had a deal in place for a right back and it fell through because it kind of seems like we were very unprepared to be without Yedlin right now.
I think I can't disagree with that speculation. I think what's interesting is
quick, while we're on Rojas, Jeffrey, Tata did say that they were waiting for FIFA approval for this move.
That came out.
Yeah, today or yesterday.
But until I see it signed, I'm not believing it's real. But going back to your right back,
I believe it because it's going to be free.
Going back to the right back speculation, I firmly believe the Yedlin thing was supposed to happen before the start of season, and that Frias going down and us having to go get Redondo and all these things changing in the last second, we held on to him to kind of get us through the first few games. That's why I still believe. And everyone's making fun of that price we paid.
But then we would have. I feel like we would have been more prepared then.
That's my point. I was like, man, you keep on cutting me off today. But that was where I was going to go, which is I agree with you that if my speculation is that we were ready to make a move, there was an incoming move ready to go. And why didn't it happen? And I almost wonder if the Houston move was real. And then when we had to hold other things dropped.
Well, but the Houston move was for a left back.
But in him coming as a left back, I get it, but we never needed a left back. So someone was going to go.
Right. So I don't think that Houston move was real is my point. And I don't think selling Yedlin, it either came because we said, okay, this is the best deal we're going to get for somebody. We're going to sell him. We were trying to sell somebody else. I don't know. All I know is we were very unprepared. And if Tata knew that this was coming, it's just even more reason that he's shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I got into an argument on Twitter yesterday with someone that was basically blaming Hendo for a lot of stuff, and I'm like, you're ignoring the fact that Tata has a lot of say right now. You're ignoring the fact that Messi has a lot of say.
If Tata wanted us to keep Yedlin,
we would have.
All he had to do was tell Henderson, "I want Yedlin," and Henderson is not the type of guy to override the manager like that.
I agree 100% because it happened after the deadline
we were already
day.
Compliant. We didn't need to do it.
Kamal Miller had a move for the deadline day. Like that.
Yeah.
That was the point the guy was trying to make, was what a horrible move by Henderson. But that was the only move we could make, right? There was no options. We had to make that move.
It was him or Calendar is my thoughts. And I don't think you would have gotten the same money for Calendar.
Maybe. I'll agree on that one. I just don't think there's no way Tata wasn't on board this Yedlin move, because you didn't need the move. If the speculation is right that it's either for someone now or even for the summer, you didn't need it yet. So we moved this in anticipation of something, and something's going on, and I don't know what it is. Getting back to this game, I do want to kind of call out, and I'm being very positive about this game. So I walked away from the game really frustrated. I thought a tie was hugely possible. I hated Tata's tactics towards the end, but I do think it's really kind of exciting. Calendar had one of his worst days in pink. Happens. One of our worst team handlings of set pieces. We had 2 goals given up on set pieces, and if you watch that game, we could have had a few more on set pieces. There was the first corner kick.
I don't know if we've ever been good at set pieces, so it's hard for me to say we were good.
We were worse than usual, which is saying something. But there was a set piece. I don't know if it was the free kick or the corner kick right before the first goal. 2 other guys were completely unmarked, had chances of the ball, and the ball was just too high. It was a really horrible set piece. Okay, so Calendar has a horrible game. Set pieces, horrible. And I'm going to say Robbie Taylor had a horrible game. He was in a ton of great positions, but he missed
horrible.
He missed multiple open nets that he really should have shot on. He should have been able to make. I'm not, again, it's not meant to be a criticism. It's more of saying people are allowed bad games. No one has 100% great games. And yet we were competitive to the very end against a team that looks fairly decent on a heavy rotational day. I think if you take a look at this and we can kind of take an unemotional step back, it wasn't the worst day. We dropped a point, in my opinion. We didn't drop 2 points. We didn't drop 3 points. We dropped a point. It sucks we didn't get the tie, but I'm just not that frustrated by this game.
This is
kind
a
of
Montreal
beyond
team.
Tata sucks.
Well, and this is a Montreal team that's been very good. Brand new coach has come in and got them playing well. They're playing, I think, their first 7 games or something on the road.
Yeah.
Because they're going through stadium refurbishment or something.
I was trying to find why. I couldn't find an answer, and I assume that's the answer.
It was something like that, something with the stadium. Either it's being refurbished or being used for, I don't know. Not a Montreal podcast, so sorry.
Nah.
If you guys were looking for that level of detail. But I wasn't upset with the result because I expected us to lose and lose kind of a lot worse than this, I think. I did not expect Calendar. I didn't expect so many guys to have a bad day, is really what it was. I think there's some guys that are getting a lot of hate for the way that they perform that really is kind of unfair, because I think they're being played out of position. And what do you expect? Ruiz and Allen come to mind. A lot of people kind of saying they had really bad games. I don't think they had bad games. I don't think they had great games, but they were fine.
I mean, I'll argue on the Allen one. I watched a lot of that tape, and I thought he played very well.
I wouldn't say very well. I wouldn't say very well. He played fine.
I think he played better than fine. There was
so.
The goal that went in, the one goal on transitional piece, he played that person 100% correctly. He was keeping the ball, down his side, his left center back side. In fact, I think during the spot where the transitional piece, I think at that point he was actually a left back, because I do want to get into the second half tactical formation that I still can't figure out.
Yeah.
But I think he played a very good game. I think under duress, with one of the center backs kind of having a lazy day, I thought Allen did really well. I agree. I don't think Ruiz had a bad game. I think what I've seen on Twitter specifically is there's a lot of people who don't actually understand soccer or football.
Well,
and making a lot of comments that they just haven't watched the team beyond saying, I'm here to watch Messi, Suarez, and Busquets.
Yeah, and so that's a fair comment, I think, because there's a lot of people that don't know that Allen It's not a center back. But I think it's a stretch to say he played very good. I think he was. If Christoph wasn't in the starting lineup, we'd be talking about Allen as the worst of the three. And it's not a knock on him. I still don't understand the Allen at center back experiment.
See, I'm going to
I thought he
disagree
looked
because
better at the left back because let me finish because you just went on a rant about set pieces. And part of the problem is if you're going to have center backs who are small like Noah Allen, you're going to get bossed on center pieces or on set pieces, and that's what's happening.
So, and I'm going to agree, and that's what I'm going to say. You can't say Freer or Christoph had a good game because here's the guys that are supposed to. In fact, Christoph was, I think, the first. Freer was
the only
busted,
defender I thought had a good game was Alves.
Yeah, but he got subbed out early. But
yeah, but he had a good game before that.
The center backs were manned out during set pieces. Sergey, in my opinion, is largely to blame for the transitional goal. Specifically, if you watch the replay, he's sprinting back. Kind of, he's probably going to get there in time. Slows up once Freer and because Freer and Allen both doubled the first guy with the ball. I think it was Martinez. Like they've got the goal line covered. They've got him covered all the way down. Christoph had to get into position, and then there should have been another trailing runner. Christoph was lazy getting back. And then there was no trailing runner. But it starts the blame of Christoph. I saw Allen and Freer getting blamed for that goal. I'm like, I've watched that goal a lot now. I've watched it probably 30 times. They did what was right.
Well,
you can make a slight argument Allen slightly overcommitted, but Freer was there to back him up as the two of them should.
So my problem in it was hard to see on the broadcast. But the back line just didn't seem comfortable. There wasn't a level of communication there. Like what we saw when we had Aviles, Freyer, and I think was it Noah? Or
which
maybe
game?
It was Christoph. Getting it mixed up. I think it was Christoph. In its center backs. Like there was communication, it was very fluid, like they knew who was gonna back up who, and that definitely did not happen because I felt like, even though I will give Christoph credit, he did save that first Drake mistake. Then like it was almost like he was like, "Oh, you got me, Drake. You saved me on this one." Or
what scared me if you watch when Drake fucked up, and he did. And again, we love Drake. It was in his head.
He was out of the box.
It wasn't even that. So he gets back in goal after they get to defend the corner now, and you could see in his head he wasn't zen. The ultimate zen master that he is. He was yelling at himself. He was cursing. Fuck. Like something that we rarely see from Drake. As soon as I saw that on the replay, I'm like, oh shit. Now I kind of understand what his head wasn't in it. It just felt like. I do have to go on to the second thing. Towards the end of the game, I kind of got the feeling Tata kind of gave up on tactics and just started throwing people in. And when I look at the great coaches that are in this league, because there's some very good coaches. Now, Nancy obviously
none of them are named Tata.
None of them are named Tata. We had 3 strikers in. We had Jordi Alba, I think, playing either a left wing or a 10. He was playing the Messi
There were
role.
times where he was over on the right, like he was over on the left. Noah was pushing up on the left.
We switched. We went from a 3-man line to a 4-man line.
Mm-hmm.
But you make the comment that no one knew where to play. Yeah, no one knew where to play because our coach had basically just given up on tactics.
I was trying to stay with the first half. I wasn't really going into that debacle yet, because that was wild.
There was
like a 10 or 15-minute run of play where it felt like a pickup game.
Yes.
Where it was just like, we know Alba's the best player on the field right now, so we're just going to let him do his thing.
Yeah.
And it worked because he got that banger of a goal.
I don't think he's going to win goal of the week. I didn't check because
there was 2 other good ones. He was
Insigne was not as good as Alba's because Insigne did it on the dribble from about the same spot. Alba did it on the volley. So I thought Alba's was a nicer goal.
I did too, but
I agree with you.
I can't say that. I feel biased when I say it. But yeah, it was wild.
Didn't make sense. And what bothered me more, okay, so we've gone to this 3-striker formation, which you're not even allowed to do in FIFA, right? Like they'd look at you laugh, that's not allowed. And here's the piece that was missing. if you're going to have in both Borgelin and Campana, who else do you need on the field at that moment more than anyone
I
else?
don't know why we took Gressel off.
Thank you. You need Gressel because you need that person to put the ball in up high. And we didn't have him anymore. And it's interesting because I want to kind of almost go back. So
Yeah.
Campana had an okay game. He had the goal. I think that's a kind of goal he should get. I found it very interesting early on in the first half. Jordy's coming. Jordy gets a switch. I don't remember who it came from. It came from the right side over to the left, crossed the whole field, midfield, right on Jordy's foot. It was beautiful. Jordy starts playing forward. Campana makes the run he's supposed to make. And what was two things happened that bothered me. First was Jordy puts the pass way too far forward and on the ground. And I'm watching this going, Jordy doesn't know how to play with Campana. They haven't gotten those reps in. And
this is the one. It was Toto's pass from the back. That pass was beautiful.
Beautiful. And Jordy knew the run that was coming, but he didn't know how to play with Campana. And I think I forget who I was talking to. Brandon might have been you, but might have been Terry. But I was talking about this, and I was like, I recognize I don't mean to criticize Jordy, but you can clearly see we've only been playing the starters together. We've had so little practice time since preseason. The rotational guys are not getting in there because Jordy, with his foot, should have placed that ball on Campana's head, and it should have been a goal.
And what it kind of, and that's kind of what we've been saying the whole time, right? Is like we're not seeing rotation, we're not seeing key guys in, and like when Campana would come in before this game, like I'm like Messi's getting ready to come out or Suarez is coming out, and like they're not playing together. And you're absolutely right. And it showed. But the other thing is, and the thing I have to keep reminding myself is like, this was our B squad. And we came away with a 3-2 loss.
Yeah, like we can't be. That's where I started. You can't be that upset.
What is it? The third game or fourth game. Sorry, fourth game of the MLS season. Like
third game of the MLS season.
No, it's our fourth.
Yeah,
it's our fourth. That's what's throwing me is we have the extra game still. But yeah, and so I think over time, because these guys are going to have to start playing together as we rotate through the squad, I think that will get better. And that makes me excited because we have never seen a squad this deep. Like when we played our B squad before, like we didn't sniff the goal. We were lucky if we had a shot on target. And, you know, it's something I wanted to talk about on our show Saturday, but obviously wasn't there. I think what's interesting is in like moments of weakness, what seems to be overcoming the bad tactics by our manager is the talent of our players, because the talent is shining through, like especially with Alba in this game. Like there's no way we would have scored 2 goals without that banger from Alba. And there's no way we were close to equalizing again when it was 3-3. And, you know, we're seeing that talent is coming through, but the fact it's coming through on our B squad is freaking awesome.
And that's where I actually walked away really frustrated. Because if anyone saw me, like I did the recording, it was fairly quick. I was also kind of about to kill my son because he was being very annoying. I don't know if you could see it in the broadcast. Joe can attest this. There were termites swarming the stadium parking lot, like flying out all over. So like I was already walked out frustrated and that. But if Tata had any sense of tactics, especially on the fly tactics, we tied that game. We had the players capable of tying.
Yeah.
Problem is Tata couldn't foresee the possibility we were down 3-2 in the 75th minute and made subs. Now, you can make some arguments that he was also subbing more so about tomorrow, which we haven't even gotten into yet, but source about tomorrow. But still, there was a point to be had here. And, you know, I think Messi made the point. Sorry, I'm saying point to me. Messi made the comment last week that we need to get points now, because later on it's going to get hard. Is there a chance that this point haunts us in September? 100% there is. I know a lot of people think we're going to be very comfortably in the playoffs. I am not. Been consistent. I'm not one of those people yet. But a point matters. and a point makes you make stupid decisions later on in the season because you're scrambling and desperate. And I just can't get away from Tata did a horrible job towards the end of this game.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have two identical strikers plus Suarez playing up top. They're going to play the same space. They don't know how to create space around each other and make that work. It's not possible. And if you're going to do that, you need a guy who can deliver balls at about the 6'4" mark. And Jordy can probably do that, except he's never played with these guys. There's got to be someone on the B squad who's practiced this that should have been doing it.
Well, that and like my thought is when those subs came up, my thought would have been slide Gressel over to right back, sub out Ruiz, who had a great game. But if you want to bring Suarez on as another striker, that's fine. Then you have Gressel trying to feed Campana and Suarez, who are. It's not like Borges and Campana. Borges and Campana, I feel like, are very similar.
Yeah.
But Suarez offers a little bit something a little bit different than Campana, and I feel like that combination would have been better. But then,
agreed.
I think the sub was also probably something to do with tomorrow, like because I think we see Gressel starting at right back,
possibly
for the CCC match.
But then at that point, you don't. I think we can both agree you can't have Campana and Borgelin both playing. So if you want to get Borgelin in, pull Campana.
You can if you've got Gressel on the field.
Okay.
Because then you've got two big targets with Gressel and Alba crossing in the box. That could work.
Fair, but with Gressel off, you didn't have that. And anyone who's followed the team, the minute Borgelin went in, kind of had a WTF moment. And reality was we didn't score. And again, I'm putting that on Tata.
Yeah.
You as a coach, you game plan. Being down one goal at the end, towards the end of this, was a very predictable place for us coming into this match. We knew we could be competitive, even with a rotated squad. Being down one goal at 70th, 75th minute, that's a likelihood. That should have been plan C, flip the paper and go. So again, I just think this reinforces Tata's incompetence running this team.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to continue to see that happen throughout the year. Mike V, 100% agree with you. I think the way that Tata uses Campana is criminal. Because he refuses to play to the guy's strengths. And, with Tata, we've seen it before. We've seen him do this. He's done it at the Mexican national team. He's done it. I'm sure he did it in Atlanta. Like, he doesn't like somebody. He doesn't put him in a position to succeed. And I don't know. He's, I don't want to go on and hate Tata rant again. I do this every show. I really do.
I think but let's say this. If the worst happens tomorrow night, the next show will be a very strong hate Tata rant.
It will. I will 100% start the fire Tata movement. Well, I've already started it, but
there's a Twitter. I happen to come across some Twitter handle. Dude has like 20,000 followers, and it's just Tata out. I was kind of shocked how quickly that one's already formed.
Yeah, I personally, I think it's very clear he's nothing special.
No.
I could go on, and hopefully I don't have to next game. But is there anything else you wanted to cover with Montreal or?
No, like I said, I think there's a lot of positives you can take from it. I think Mike V made a comment that a lot of people played poorly. I just don't agree. I just think honestly it was our B team and a tactic and that hasn't played much together with uber shitty tactics and a couple bad games from key B squad players and A squad. I mean, Drake. And again, we only lost by 1 point. It didn't kill us in goal differential. Now we have to make tomorrow worth it, right? Like that was an easy 3 MLS points for us. With our normal squad, we would have destroyed that Montreal team. It would have looked worse than Orlando, probably.
Maybe
this is a squad that went into Orlando and tied them. Like we could, I'm not too impressed.
I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, one positive did come out of it. Let's get into it real quick before we jump into Nashville. And Jordy Alba made Team of the Week. No surprise there. I personally think he's been our best player this season, and put in probably the most consistent performances, and he scored a goal, so he made it on the team. Our only player this week, and thank God our coach did not make it on there.
So I don't know if I agree with you. He's our best. I Messi's had some. The Messi in the LA Galaxy game was fantastic. Jordy had a bad game. I forget one game too, but Jordy was fantastic. He deserved it. Something I want to call out. That was the first week, and then we're only in week 3 officially, that one of our opponents ended up there. That hadn't happened yet. That I want to see.
Multiple opponents made it.
Was there 2 Montreal players on there? I know there was one
Montreal player and their coach.
So I would like to see
and
that.
Another one made the bench.
Right. That we need to see less of. Like I think that's a way to kind of judge us is when the other teams don't get to show up on here when you play Miami. So that stuck out to me more than Jordy making it in, though. Definitely love seeing Jordy up there. He had a fantastic game. And if he, it's funny, we talked about last year, and once we lost Messi, how much we struggled. People also forget we lost Jordy for all that as well. And I think that was under recognized.
I don't want to say Jordy was a bigger miss than Messi, but
it's hard to say that. But
I feel like he was a little more crucial last year to the way that the team was playing than Messi was. Because when Messi's there, he changes the way the team plays. And so it's just I feel like you have to take Messi out of the conversation when you say like our best player or anything like that, because he completely changes the way that the team plays. But I feel like when you miss Alba, the team without Messi can't work.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, there's some fighting words to start out with. I would add to this. I think Jordy's playing on another level this year than we saw last year. And I think that if I'm an opponent,
he's healthy this year. I don't think he was healthy last year.
Fine, I think he's healthy.
I agree with you 100%.
But I think he's at a completely different level. If I'm teams right now, as scared of you are as Messi and Suarez, Jordy on the left side, and once we get these overlaps really working, where someone can kind of track back and cover him, because we're still kind of figuring that out. We're getting there, right? We're getting there.
Yeah.
That left side of our attack is just going to be lethal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but jump into it, right? Nashville, CONCACAF Champions Cup. Here we come.
Oh boy.
Oh
no. Okay, let's get excited. This is man. This is going to be what, our third most important game we've ever played. I think it's.
I feel like exciting. You say that every time.
No, well, it might be. I think things change because Leagues Cup
every
final.
Time we have a big game, this is our third most important game outside of our none finals. Of them have big.
Leagues Cup finals, obviously our first. U.S. Open Cup final, we were playing for hardware, probably our second. So you
want to call this the most electric match as well?
No, it won't be. I mean, we know that for a fact. Ticket sales are still rock bottom. They're dropping. Someone bought a skybox for $200 today. I won't name the name. So no, this will not be an electric. Yeah, no. Someone on Ticketmaster, not on third party, on Ticketmaster, one of the skybox seats for $200. That was pre-fees, so it was probably $240, but still.
Oh man.
Yeah, so no, this will not be an electric match. I don't think we know supporter groups are every kind of weekday match. People are going to struggle to get there on time. So no, you won't hear me say that at all. I think this is going to be a competitive match. So I don't know if you took a chance and looked at what Nashville did. They rested everybody.
Oh yeah.
They Zimmerman not even on the starting lineup. I'm sorry, Zimmerman wasn't even on the lineup. Mukhtar and Schallerberg rested, came in later. I think they came in. I'm assuming they came in later. We don't know if the other guy
is going to be back.
That's the one I don't know. We don't know if Surge is going to be back or not. Trust me, they're not going to tell us to the last second. And question is, to get on the plane tomorrow morning or not. But both teams have this circle. This is going to be, we've discussed it already, right? This is now a rivalry match. This will be a rivalry match. And I'm going to throw this out there. We beat them in their home. They're coming to beat us in ours. So this is going to be a very, very tough match.
Yeah. And you know, far be it for me to agree with somebody who hates the US Open Cup, Danny. But they were making the case that Nashville is probably our bigger rival than Orlando, and I'm starting to feel that way. I really am. I want this, and I want it bad. And I feel like a man named Tata is the only thing that can get in my way at this point.
I think the good news is we're going to play one of two formations. We all know what it is. The players know what it is. We're not going to have, if Alba. So my issue with the first game was we should have won. We were the better team. And and I feel that Tata's stubbornness to play the 3-5-2 when he didn't have Alba and was forced to play Noah and the center backs was what cost us the full 3 points. As far as we know, everyone's healthy, which wasn't last game. So we're not going to have to face off against Tata's stubbornness. We're going to get to play what he wants to play. We're going to get to play what we've practiced playing. I'm excited, but I'm going to throw it out here. You should get nervous about this. I'm going to go with we're going to win this 3-1, even as competitive as we, because I think us at our best is still better than anyone in this league.
Ooh.
And we're gonna it's gonna be feisty, competitive, shoving. But we should come out on top of this. If we don't, Tata out.
So this is probably the first time we've been like this where we've been flipped. I am less optimistic about this game. I am very nervous heading into this second leg. I was hoping to have a lead coming home because I felt like we could lock it down here. I do not want Tata to go back to the 5-man back line. I'm scared to death of what's going to happen there. And I feel like he's going to do it. I feel like he's going to do the back five,
hands down.
And it's not going to work.
He wants it. We were right. Remember at the beginning of the season,
know.
we said we're going to do a 3-5-2, and then he went to 4-3-3 and said, "Hey, maybe we're wrong." And the first chance he got, he went back to the 3-5-2. I think we will. Well, Tata, man, yeah, Tata's going to play a high line. That's all he wants to play. He's played every single match he could.
Yeah.
Every time.
Tata doesn't adapt. He doesn't adapt, and that's why I make jokes like I'm the Tata whisperer, but really what I do is I say what's the dumbest thing I could do, and that's what I say Tata's gonna do.
And see, I'm gonna jinx it. I don't think he can screw up our lineup tomorrow because I think our lineup's very obvious. Even the one question mark is Ruiz or Gressel at right wing back. That's the only question mark.
It has to be Gressel. In my opinion, if I see Gressel at right back, I'm feeling a lot better about the outcome of this game. If I see,
I'll make an argument. If I'm Tata and say, okay, Nashville's not going to come in our house and blow us out of the water. Worst case, I'm down 1-0 at the half. I use Ruiz, and then I bring Gressel in the second half, and now I've got a fresh Gressel to attack, especially if Zimmerman's out. There's some logic to that. I can get behind. That might be a logical move. I can think that one through and not hate it.
I hate it, and I'll tell you why. Because you can't go into this mentality oh, if I go in down 1-0 at the half, I can make these subs. I'm not saying that you're saying this because this is something
that's not the mentality.
Totally
that's not what I'm saying. I'm thinking the full. If I'm playing this formation,
right.
Best case, worst case.
So but I don't think he can. I don't think he's gonna say oh, we need to go in. We need to go in and I need to have firepower on the bench. If I'm him, I'm going all out to put at least 2 in before halftime. And then he can make subs and park the bus if he needs to, which I don't even, and I think Joe Kerr just said it. Parking the bus isn't even going to work with our defense because our defense is shit. It's just not going to work. But he's got to go all out, and we have to get goals in early. If we get to halftime and it's tied, I am very concerned about what happens.
don't forget, I meant to have you put this in the slides, and I forgot. Like we posted this on Twitter though. 0-0 or 1-1, and we win. And everyone's got to remember that, because that will play into the game, because that means Nashville's hunting for 2 goals. Nashville's saying to themselves, we need at least 2 to win this game, if not 3. So that will play into tactics. I'm not saying we should play for the tie, because I think that's a horrible idea, but Nashville has to play for the win. And so that I'm hoping Tata's smart enough to think about that when he's coming up with tactics. You don't have to go you don't have to sacrifice defense. Like, you don't have to take that level of risk, because it's Nashville who does. They have to score 1, if not 2 goals in this game. And probably
but I think them having to do that works in our favor, because
so hold on. Oh, sorry. I just want to answer Sean, because I don't know if all of our people know this before you get into why. So we have the way that CCC works is away goals are the first tiebreaker. So we have 2 away goals going into this match. So if it's tied 0-0, we win, because we got the 2 away goals. Tied 1-1, we still win. If it's tied 2-2, that's when we go into extra time. And if it's tied 3-3, we lose, because now they have more than us. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Branton, but I just want to make sure all our listeners understood why it's so important that they have to score goals more so than we do to win.
Yeah. But I think that need to score, I think that plays into, like, let's be aggressive and go all out, because they're going to make mistakes and we can counter and capitalize on those
but we're
mistakes.
We're not a low block counterattack team. That's not what we're built for. And the problem is,
you don't have to be a low block team to counter. I know you watch the City Liverpool game. Those are 2 teams that play high back lines that were countering constantly.
Yeah, but those teams have back lines that can actually defend.
They have back lines. Listen, these are 2 without Zimmerman. These are 2 very similar MLS quality back lines. Like, we're saying our back line is shit, but it's on par MLS quality. I'm not saying we have like a Virgil van Dijk in our back line, but what I am saying is that it is possible with a high line to counter and counter press. And I think, especially if you have Noah in as a center back, I think you have the ability to do that, because Noah can counter up the left, push Alba up the left, and then we're okay as long as we have Toto there to hold the side. When you get Kristoff holding the left, that's when we start getting into trouble, because that opens the lanes.
I think you make good points, but we're not a counterattacking team. We're not trained for it. We're a possession-based team. And I think even if we were to get that opportunity, most of our players are going to default to what they've been doing on the practice pitch, which is hold, wear out, advance slowly, advance back, advance slowly, advance back. Give the ball to Suarez.
Man. I don't think so. I think when they have opportunities to break, they're going to break.
We'll see. I want to believe. And listen, I'm the first one to say I think we're winning this game. But I think yeah, I don't think it's going to come via counterattacks. I don't think it's going to come via absorbing.
Well, listen, counterattacking doesn't mean that you're absorbing blows. That's not what it means. It means you're disrupting possession, and I think that's where Redondo comes in. I think Redondo is able to disrupt the possession in the midfield and then redistribute that out to the attack.
Fair, but let's talk the concern on Redondo. We have survived. I'm going to jinx us real hard right now. We've survived 4 matches with multiple questionable fouls that could have been much, much worse. Nashville knows that. And if I'm Nashville, I'm baiting Redondo, I'm baiting Toto, and I'm baiting Pedro to make us play a man down. That's another part of my strategy if I'm Nashville. I am baiting the hell out of
Pedro?
Gomez. I am baiting them, and I'm trying to pull cards and basically disrupt our team, where our guys, because you're right, Redondo is fantastic, but Redondo on a yellow card is different than Redondo not on a card.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. But you know, you're saying we can't counter, and I'm saying you can counter without
No,
absorbing pressure.
I'm
Was my
listening.
point.
I kind of moved past
So
it. I just didn't feel like arguing with you anymore on that one.
all right.
Yes, we can counter. But I just think that I'm scared. Pedro Diego. Why did I call him Pedro? I was like, look at what's his first name. I am
Yeah, and
scared
where
of.
you
Yeah, I'm scared of relying on Redondo right now because one thing we noticed. I think said this in the last show. One thing I've noticed with these South American players coming in is it takes them a little bit to get used to what's acceptable in North America. Now, this is a CONCACAF game, so the rules are a little bit looser, right? Like you can get away with a little more with CONCACAF refs than you can with MLS, especially these scab refs. But I am concerned because Redondo, I still think should have gotten a red card. And then Toto, if VAR had gotten in on that, we never saw the whole video of him throwing down Shatlerberg, but
yeah,
that looked for the little clip that got passed around the internet was a
yeah.
red card offense. Like no play going on, walked up and just knocked him over. Maybe the hands weren't to the face, so maybe you could have gotten away with the yellow. But anyway, around, I think if I'm Nashville, I am playing into that a little bit because that's a way to disrupt us.
Yeah, and I think, I would hope, I don't know, Tata probably doesn't coach at practice anyway. So, he's probably not preparing the players for that. But, I think I don't know. I'm going a 2-1 win. I think it's gonna come down late. It's gonna be a dogfight. And it's gonna come down to either late heroics from Messi or Suarez to get it
And what's
done.
interesting is a 2-1 win. That's gonna be real nerve wracking because that's one. If we're seeing a 2-1, they could score on us, and all of a sudden we're going into extra time,
Mhm.
and so they may be playing for extra time, and gets real nerve wracking. I think to your point earlier, we have to take into account that they need more goals than us. But if we can get two up fast, which we've never been
Yeah.
great at, that does change the dynamics of this game a lot. And if we force them to need goals, then that's how you score goals. But I'm so excited, right? Like this should be a competitive, exciting match. All right. Okay. Is Danny still on? He want to start making me shirts? Inter Miami show, vote for Pedro.
I
I
think
don't know
you
if he's
should
gonna
make
start.
the shirt.
I don't know. I
We
don't
have
have
our
his
own
artistic.
show. I don't know that we should be asking another show to make a
They can sell.
shirt.
He can sell it on his website. He can just start doing shirts for all the website for all the shows.
There we go.
Um,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
I'm nervous. I'm a lot more nervous than you are about this game. I think Nashville is obviously a great
listen,
team. And I think they're definitely the best team that we've played so far this season.
I it's not that I'm not nervous, is I'm choosing. Listen, I brought out my pink kit that we wore to win Leagues Cup. I am channeling Leagues Cup energy now. I forget what it's called when you're supposed to like focus on the thing you want. That's what I'm doing. I'm very nervous, and in the stands, I'm going to be
Yeah.
a negative son of a bitch. We all know what I'm gonna be like if you're texting me that, or we're gonna lose and this and that. But I just, if I'm taking this step back and say, okay, we looked at our worst, we looked still pretty good. Tomorrow we should be at our best. We should win this game. We
Whew.
should handily win this game.
I have to say, and you talked about it with Calendar, like how he was and he wasn't himself and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my nerves is kind of like, God, I hope he doesn't have two howlers in a row.
But remember, he had possibly the worst match of his career
It
when
was
he played.
practice.
Okay, fine, it's practice. What happened when he came back the next practice?
He had a
Lights
game
out.
off. They gave him a game off in between, though.
Which is even worse, right? That means he sat with the whole game in his head, and he still came in
We'll
lights out.
see.
Like
I'm
I
just
got
saying.
dude, this is straight calendar. We got fine. Like this is the team that he beat on penalty kicks.
It's very true. That's very
Big
true.
Drake, yeah. See, big game Drake, he'll be fine. I agree. Like I'm not worried about Drake. I'm the only person I worry about is Tata. Like he shouldn't be able to screw this up, but he probably can.
Oh, if anybody can, I have full faith that Tata can do it.
By the way, the vote for Pedro is getting speed. So Joe, looking forward to some images tomorrow to kind of get this going.
I love it. I love it.
All right, so we got some predictions. By the way, we haven't discussed this. Tomorrow's a school night, so I cannot record from the parking lot. You're not going. Are you going to be able to get on for 5 minutes after the match and do a little something, or
maybe? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If it's a defeat, you don't want to see me after that.
Come on, I had to go live in defeat while surrounded by termites, and I did it.
Yeah, but it's a very different.
It's true.
Because
if
it's
depends what the defeat looks like too.
Yeah. And if it's a win, we just want to see a video of you streaking through the parking lot. Not literally streaking, just celebrating, running through the
problem is,
I don't want to get
if we win, I think we're playing Monterey, and I think it's just gonna be even more stress. I don't see what the result with was it Monterey since who was Monterey playing?
To be honest, I have not looked at the rest of the bracket. I am fully focused on Nashville.
I heard
I don't want to know who we're playing next. I don't want to even look that far ahead. I just need to be like the team should be and just focus on Nashville.
Philadelphia got their butts kicked tonight, 6-0. That hurts. Yeah, they're tied on aggregate coming into it, and it didn't go so well.
Played at home?
No, they were away in the second half.
Interesting.
Yeah, Monterey Cincinnati is Thursday night, so we will find out who we're playing Thursday night. That's how I'm going to look at this. It's going to be positive.
Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it positive.
Oh, Joe, you went there. This hurts Branton's
we're not talking about that. So moving on.
Okay.
Last thing, ending on a fun note.
I saw the Beats headphones up close. I didn't take them off a friend of mine's head, but he was wearing the official Beats Inter Miami CF headphones. And as my son would say, they slap. This is a banger.
Oh my God, don't ever fucking say that again.
I don't know any more proper Gen Z terms.
Do not say that again.
They slap hard, man. They're awesome. I want them. I looked at my wife. Man. I looked her dead in the eyes. I go, if these go for sale, I'm buying them, and you don't get to say no. The man older than me calling me a boomer. They are awesome.
I agree, Sean. Beats are garbage. That's why I use Sony headphones because they're the best.
I love my Apple headphones, and
I will wear them just for this show.
Yeah, no, that's where I want them for the show. Like that's what I'm going to wear for the show.
That's it.
They are so cool.
Yeah,
I was so jealous. I saw someone wearing them. I'm like, I knew exactly how I got them too. I'm like, I hate you so much because it was the guy wearing them. It was the biggest flex because if you knew what they were, you recognized he had them and you couldn't. It was awesome. I was so proud of him.
Sean, I agree with you for wired headphones. I do not agree for wireless. We could get into I could do a whole podcast on vinyl and audiophile stuff.
I love my Apple headphones. I think I forgot.
Those are garbage. They're Beats.
They're so good.
Bose, pretty good. Pretty good. Sean, see, I have Sennheiser wireds for my my record player when I don't want to wake up the house. So yes, I 100% agree. Wired is the best way to go, by the way, for sound.
All right,
nerded out there.
Yeah, no, I think on a very different note, maybe we'll have to start sharing each other's Discogs and who has the best collection. Go.
We should. I think that's fun. I have to update mine. They made me reset my password, and I got lazy, and then I've got like 30 more records to add to it. It's like,
no, you got to be like, I will not play a record until it's in my Discog. It has to. I have a pile, and they sit there until I remember to put in Discog, and then I can play it.
See, I don't. The Discog is not my go-to. Like first thing, like and you and I have talked about this. I wash and clean and then sleeve all my records, and then I'll listen to them.
See, my
But
thing
I
is, I've already
don't.
bought duplicates because I forgot to put stuff in Discogs. So like that's what makes me do it, so I don't end up with duplicates.
Well, that can happen.
Because you go to the record store and you're so excited, and then you forget you own it. So now I'm at the record store flipping through. Do I own this one? Do I own this one?
Danny, Discogs is a vinyl app. You download it on whatever phone you have, and it lets you scan the barcodes of the records that you buy, and then you can catalog them and keep track of your collection, and you have it right there at your fingertips. It's great. I know you have vinyl too. It's something good
Oh yeah, if
to
you have
have.
vinyl, you can't not have it.
I'm up to like 200, maybe 250 maybe records. I can't remember all of them at this
Yeah.
point. Like, I have a freaking like bin that you can flip through in my living room with, with all of it. It's crazy.
Though you've never mentioned washing a record, so like you gotta send me some information on washing records. So I've never
Sean, I
pre-washed a record.
absolutely am a psycho.
Yeah, you are.
It's crazy. Yeah, I'm heavy into vinyl, man. And you know what? If there's interest, I bet you I could convince Mike to do a vinyl podcast with me.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It would be.
Maybe because you know what we got to do? We got to come up with keep a list of shows we want to do in the off season.
Yeah, we could do like a vinyl night.
And just have a show. Hey, this show is going to be, we're going to spend the first 10 minutes on transfer rumors. The next 50 minutes, we're going to cover Discog or, I don't know, pick something else random.
We'll do polls.
Who makes a better shirt design, Battered Herons or Joe Kerr? Like we can do a whole show on that alone. So we'll come up with some ideas, but we should have some plans for some off-season shows.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we don't recognize international windows here, so we won't have that problem.
No. But I think that's it, right, man? We're excited. You're not going to be at the show. You're not going to be at the game, the match.
We'll see if I can snag something at the last second. Maybe
there will definitely
probably not though. I mean,
if you hold out, I hope my wife is delayed in Atlanta. You can come with me, but I don't expect that to happen.
Well, you keep me posted.
What's the weather supposed to be tomorrow
I
night?
hope not.
Weather's supposed to be pretty good tomorrow, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, but yeah. So if you're getting out there, have a great time at the stadium. For those of you not, enjoy watching on TV, it's not behind a paywall. For those of you who don't subscribe to MLS TV, so that's great. But yeah, thanks for sticking in to the end and listening to us nerd out on vinyl for a little bit. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. We've been gaining some momentum. We've got getting some more followers, and we really appreciate all the love and support. And hopefully, we can keep doing this. And
definitely, by the way, make sure you're following us on Twitter. We do post updates. We send information out. We'd love to see that community growing a little bit more. But yeah, that's kind of our main way to communicate, off, when we're not on the show, to communicate with followers
our
and fans.
Social media platform of choice.
Yeah. And then Branton and I also obviously have our own. So our moderate takes take place in the Inner Miami show, or at the Inner Miami show. The less moderate takes are on our own personal ones.
I don't know. Most of my takes on my private Twitter are mostly Liverpool and Marlins.
I start arguing with people. I'm not going to start naming who I argue. There's certain people I argue with quite a bit. Other podcasters and other fans on Twitter for some of their really bad takes.
Yeah, so if you want a punching bag, he's at M Longan on Twitter.
I'm ready to go any day you want.
And on that note, thanks everybody, and we will talk to you hopefully after we beat the shit out of Nashville.